Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So usually we do hauls on the midweek video on our Wednesdays, but this week I want to talk about upcoming format upgrades that I'm looking forward to in 2025. I upgraded quite a bit of films in 2024 from an older format to a newer format, and of course I've expressed my plans for the year of 2025 to continue to upgrade and curate and that kind of, and customize that kind of thing. I want to share today 10 upcoming movies that are finally getting an upgrade from either DVD to Blu-ray, Blu-ray to 4K, or DVD all the way to 4K. These are movies that I have in my collection that I'm excited to upgrade in the coming months. So stick around and check it out. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff and welcome back to my channel, JOHNDOEJUGGALO. If this is your first time here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Like my daughter says, it's free and you can always change your mind later. If this is not your first time here, welcome back. This is where you're going to find me discussing my favorite things about movies and music, video games, and the physical medias that surround all of those types of mediums. So please sit back and relax and check out this next video. All right, so as you guys know, I have made it very clear that I want to spend 2025 continuing to upgrade disc formats for some of my favorite movies. Not that I am completely against DVD in 2025. There is still a very strong place for it. I just so happen to have the equipment and the TVs basically throughout my house now that I no longer really want DVD if there's a better format. Not that I'm being snobby, it's just, I'm going to tell you right now, try to put a DVD blown up on a 65 or a 77-inch OLED TV, and you're going to hope and wish that that movie gets at least a Blu-ray. So I'm going to start off my list of 10. And that's a little bit of a shaky number, and we'll get into that as we kind of go along. But I'm going to get into that list today, and we're going to start with things that are coming out first. We're going to go from the soonest releases that I'm excited about this year to the furthest out. I've also decided that I will not go past May, because a lot of things may still get announced, even between now and May, that may come out that would fit inside this video, because they're always announcing things every day, including some of the things that I'm going to talk about later in the video that don't quite have release dates and only have rumored dates. So we're going to start off with one that I have talked about quite a bit on this channel. It's one of my favorite films. I watched this with my grandma quite a bit growing up. These DVDs are still from the release of this film on home release. I am quite excited to upgrade this one. It's always been one of my favorites, and before I even knew who directors were, I liked this. So I don't even know this guy has done other films, whatever. But the first film I'm talking about is going to be Panic Room. I like this film so much. We have our special edition 3-disc DVD here. We have our Super Bit Digipack DVD. And I still hold on to the VHS of this movie. This is one of my favorites. In the timeline of me recording this, this movie comes out in just about a week. And we've been waiting quite a while for it. This is directed by David Fincher. I don't really know much about directors like that. I just know that I always enjoyed this film. I watched it with my grandma. It was one of her favorites growing up. I think the first time I ever watched it with her, I watched it on a VHS. I've always enjoyed the Superbit DVDs. They look pretty decent. I'm ready for an upgrade. We get this jump from DVD straight to 4K. And the next one that I'm excited about, I used to have this on HD DVD back in the day. When I sold my HD DVD collection the first time, of course, it went away. I haven't replaced it. There's no need. I think I have to keep the Blu-ray because I don't think the Blu-ray is going to be in the 4K upgrade. So I won't necessarily be replacing this, but I may be combining and customizing with it. And that's going to be Constantine. I've always been a big fan of Keanu Reeves. He's always been one of my favorite actors. And I've always really enjoyed Constantine. I think it's kind of like it's hip to like it now. But I remember when this movie came out, people did not like it. They said, oh, it's a comic book movie. It's terrible. Why are we making movies based on comic books? Well, 20 years later, comic book movies are a dime a dozen. And this still holds up. I'm very, very excited to see how well this looks on 4K. And it comes out the same day as Panic Room. So it's going to be one of those, which one do I get? Or do I get them both? Or what? So, like I said, I'm very excited about this one and Panic Room coming out. It is a bit of a shame that they both come out on the same day when I don't normally buy 2 new release movies in the same week too often. But this might be one of those ones where I don't mind. I'm also entering to win a steelbook for the 4K of this, so I will probably not pick this one up immediately. And I will be fine if I miss out on the steelbook and have to go with the standard slipcover, you know, in a month or two on a sale. But I'm still, nonetheless, excited to add this one as an upgrade in 2025. Now, my next one that I'm excited for, the release for it has really snuck up on me. I did not realize it was coming out in the month of February. And it's going to come out right near the end. It's going to come out on the 25th of February. And it's only part 1, so it will not negate this collection I'm about to show you. And the sticker on this, if you know, you know, it comes from Orbit. I just picked this up at Orbit maybe 9 months ago. It wasn't quite a year. I think when I went last March or April, I picked it up. So just about a year now. And yeah, I paid $13 for it. So wow, I gotta freaking upgrade it. And I haven't opened it yet to watch it. I have to be in a mood to watch this movie. It's very sad. This was a traumatizing movie as a child. But I grew up watching these movies back to back. It wasn't one without the other. They're both great films. And I watched another one that was with my grandma. These were just movies that I ended up watching with her quite a bit. The cast is exactly the same, minus Macaulay Culkin. And if you haven't seen the film, well, you'll know why. The male child actor was changed. That's the traumatizing part of the film. But I believe these are both shared to one disc. So, and it's Mill Creek. So, even at that rate, there are no special features on this. I don't know if there are special features on the 4K. I don't really care, because I almost guarantee there is, because there's nothing on here. They do have decent audio tracks. The first movie has a 5.1 and the second movie has a 2.0. I'll have to keep this just for part 2, but the part 1 does not come with a Blu-ray. It's just a 4K and a digital. And these probably share a disc inside this case. So, and they probably share a 25 gigabyte disc. And like my buddy Brian over at Last Movie Standing talks about,
a lot of people know I talk disc sizes. BDE, big disc energy.
That 4K, even if it's on just a 65 gig disc, this is on a 25 gig disc. And he likes that big disc energy. So let's be like our buddy Brian and be excited about a bigger 4K disc for a classic film. All right, so for these next ones, I haven't really expressed a lot of love for these films, and it's going to be two of them. I'm going to show them off at the same time because they always kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion. You kind of just don't buy one without the other, and you kind of don't watch one without the other. In the 90s, I grew up with them playing these movies back to back, and front to front, over and over and over again on USA. They have the same actors, and sometimes I even confuse these movies with the other because they're kind of similar and they're kind of not. There's funny things about both movies. I love them both equally, but we're going to talk about Tommy Boy and Black Sheep. And they're both coming out on 4K on the same day by different companies. I believe Tommy Boy is coming out through Paramount on a steelbook and just a standard studio release. But Black Sheep gets the Kino Lorber treatment. It's kind of weird that one's getting the boutique and one's not. I think it's possibly because Black Sheep might be considered the better of the two between most fans and most box offices and whatever. This is considered to be maybe the better one. I don't know. Like I said, I kind of get confused sometimes thinking about these movies and going back to them. I just remember that Tommy Boy has my buddy Rob Lowe in it. I've always been a big fan of Rob Lowe. So, like I said, you kind of don't get one without the other. I believe even when I bought these on Blu-ray, I bought them in a bundle, in a double pack for like $15 when they were really trying to push Blu-ray on people and sell people on Blu-ray. I believe these were like shrink wrapped together, $14.99, bang, bang. They're a little more pricey nowadays to get those 4Ks, but they're both going to come with the Blu-rays. So I will probably be upgrading and purging these when they go on sale. The Kino Lorber, I might have to pick up the Tommy Boy or the Black Sheep through Kino Lorber a little sooner because if I want that slip cover, it will go quicker. But yes, very excited about both of these. And for my next one for March, this one was supposed to come out in January and it got pushed back by 2 months. And that's okay. I do complain about it. I have made my voice kind of loud about it, but I also want to go ahead and admit right now, I'm excited that it gets a delay for its upgrade than for it to come out on time and there to be an error with the disc. So I will be perfectly fine with the pushback and the delay as long as the disc comes out and it comes correct. Because this is one of my favorites, and I've talked about it. I made a video about this film alone, and that's going to be Just Friends. I am so excited about getting this on a Blu-ray in the US finally. I know it has an imported Blu-ray, but I believe that the import Blu-ray is a 25 gigabyte disc, and this new Warner Archive is going to be a 50 gig disc. So like my buddy Brian talks about, that big disc energy.
It's BDE, big disc energy.
There's a lot of that going on this year. A lot of it. Very, very, very excited about this one. I don't know if it'll have even any new features, any of that, but it comes out through Warner Archive, so, you know, boutique-ish in a way. And like I said, it's just one of my favorites. I quite enjoy this film. So let's get on the bandwagon and get a pre-order up for this, because even still to this day, there is no pre-order for this film. Let's get a pre-order. Let's show our love for this This is a slept on comedy, guys. This is super slept on. And speaking of comedies, I actually talk about a lot of comedies in this one today. You know, we just talked about the Tommy Boy and the Black Sheep, and my next few are going to be kind of comedy as well. Now, we're going to skip right over April, because for April, I don't really have any movies coming out in April that I want to upgrade out of my collection. And before everybody starts yelling at me about the big Arrow release for April, I absolutely love The Long Kiss Goodnight. But for some reason, I've just never had it in my collection. So when Arrow releases it in April, I'll finally be able to add it to my collection, and it'll be a one and done purchase for me. So before anybody gets on my butt about that. And then Dante's Peak is another one from April that I am very excited to add to my collection. We spent the 90s growing up, and it was Dante's Peak, Daylight, and Volcano. So I am very, very excited to finally be able to add Dante's Peak to my collection. And I'll be able to do it through a Kino Lorber, I believe. And it'll come with a Blu-ray. So I'll get that one and done purchase with that as well. So nothing for April in terms of upgrade, but I am going on vacation in April. So maybe it's a good thing that I won't need to worry about some upgraded formatted discs in that month. Now, for May, I am stupid excited for these. This video was originally going to be 5 films that I was excited to upgrade to a better format in 2025. But because of what I woke up to this morning before I decided to go ahead and film and get my video together, there was one last night that I noticed, and there were some other ones that were announced this morning. So this is going to be a quick bunch of them, and not all of them are getting 4Ks for upgrades, but they are getting disc upgrades in my opinion, because they're getting, I believe, bigger Blu-ray disc upgrades, and they're getting more formats, and they're getting really nice package upgrades for 2 of the 3 of these next ones. Now, last year, the first one in this series got upgraded, and I didn't get it because I figured there's a box set coming. There might not be. So I may still be trying to look for part 1, because now part 2 is coming out on a 4K, and part 3 and 4 are only coming out on Blu-rays. And what are we talking about? We're talking about American Pie. Another series that, again, my buddy Brian over at The Last Movie Standing, he is super excited about these. I don't have part 1 on a Blu-ray, so I really do want to upgrade my part 1 to that 4K, get the Blu-ray bundle set from 88 Films, and now I want part 2. So part 2 is getting a 4K, and maybe it's a hot take, but I like part 2 better than part 1. I have more nostalgia and more of a sentimental tie to part 1 because of how I watched part 1 and who I watched it with and when I watched it in my life. But I think part 2 is a better movie. So now that they've announced that they're doing a big box matching edition of part 2, damn it, I need to get my hands on part 1 now. And part 3 and 4 are only getting Blu-ray upgrades, but I believe they're still getting upgrades nonetheless, and I'm still excited to possibly upgrade those, even if it's just packaging in 2025. Like I said, I'm very excited about these ones. I know that there are many, many friends of mine that are. So, you know, more comedies. I think 2025 might be the year that us comedy buffs finally get the movies that we deserve. We're ready. Bring us the comedies. Please. Now, this next one, and this is going to be, if you've been keeping track, this is going to be number 10. This is going to be the last one. And I'm very excited about this. I think I might be the one breaking the news because I shared on Instagram that I was excited about this and that it had a release date for May. And I had people talking about that they had not seen anyone else speaking on it. We're going to talk about this one as well. And this is also a comedy. Like I said, I think us comedy buffs are finally going to get our due respects for the 4K format this year. And I'm popping this video off and tying it up with Lethal Weapon Part 1. It officially is listed on Blu-ray.com for a May 20th release, which puts it a day after the rumored American Pie releases. So again, all of my stuff that I want to upgrade kind of just gets dumped on me at once. But that's the world of being a collector, right, guys? That's kind of the issue with it. Now, I would love for them to do all 4 Lethal Weapons in a set. And you know what? Warner Brothers, I know you guys like to do it like this. Be cheap if you have to. And put them all in a box like this. I don't care. I want them on nice 4K discs. If you have to cheap on the packaging, whatever. But we're getting Lethal Weapon 1. And that's a buddy cop comedy. I think Lethal Weapon and the Lethal Weapon series was the first buddy cop movies that I fell in love with. I have to give my dad props for watching these around me as many times as he did. But I remember absolutely still loving Part 4. When Part 4 came out, that's how I was introduced to Jet Li. That was how we were kind of introduced to DVDs. I mean, that was an early DVD with a snapper case. Loved it. Bring us all the Lethal Weapons. But we're getting Lethal Weapon 1. And I'm excited about it. So this video was, quite a bit longer than I was expecting it to be. But, I had 10 films all of a sudden instead of the 5 that I was originally going in here with. I told everybody at the beginning of the year I was going to try to just keep it at 5 lists to not feed FOMO. But this one, there's just too many good things coming out between now and June. And honestly, that kind of spreads 10 movies out between the first 5 months. I don't feel that's feeding into too much FOMO. And these are just some of my movies that I already have in my collection that I want to upgrade, that necessarily you don't want to upgrade. Maybe they're not your types of films. Maybe you're not a comedy buff like I am. I absolutely love comedy. If it comes to 2 genres that I have to pick, I'm probably going with comedy and horror if I had to just choose 2 genres to keep in my collection. Those are my favorites. I have such a good time with comedies. I love busting a gut. And I'm very excited that the comedy genre looks like it's finally getting its due respect to the 4K format. I've been collecting 4K for going on close to 10 years. For over 8 now. For over 8 years. And comedy has never really been to the forefront of the format. So if 2025 is the year that we finally get our comedies and we get a piece of that pie, bring it, baby. Bring it. I'm excited about it. And I hope you guys are too. I'm going to take a moment just to kind of shout out my members real quick. I'm going to pop them up on here on the screen. They get that shout out because they give me a little bit of extra above and beyond every month. And I like to thank them for that. But besides that, thank you guys all for popping in here, checking this video out. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Hit that little bell notification because I want to do other videos besides just showing off the things that I'm buying. I want to show off the things that I've got. I want to talk about the things that are coming out. And I want to talk about films that I love and games that I love and just all types of like physical media, music, all of it. And if you're here for it, I appreciate you. And until next time, keep it physical.